Welcome to 18 News. With us this morning is Nathan Schmitt. Nathan is the Assistant Chief here at the City of Jasper. Thank you and welcome for being on the program, and enjoy having you. Tell us a little bit about
great to be here.
Yourself.
I'm the Assistant Chief of the Jasper Police Department. I started that position January 1st of this year, so still learning the ropes. But I'm here excited to talk about cell phone use while driving.
Yeah, right now in the legislature there are, I think in the Senate it just passed, and in the House there is another bill being worked on and concerning cell phone use while driving.
That's correct. Currently, Senate Bill 16 was just passed, and it's going to go to the House for final approval. And that's kind of a graduated young driver bill that's going to prohibit young drivers from operating a vehicle while talking on a personal communication device, which includes cell phones, iPods, anything like that that distracts their attention from the road. That would be from 16 to 18 would prohibit that, would be the only drivers that would be prohibited.
I know they're talking about changing a lot of the rules for young drivers, but why only young drivers? Why the so-called inexperienced drivers? What about seasoned drivers too? I mean,
well, I think personally, we police officers like to have anybody who's driving or operating a vehicle to have their full attention on the road. That's the most important thing. As police officers, we don't like anybody's attention taken away from driving. We want them to be aware of their surroundings and make sure that they are paying attention. But I think the young bill, or the Senate Bill 16, I think they're going after younger drivers because of the inexperience. It's tough for anybody to learn how to drive, and I think if the age was 18 to get your driver's license, they would go after 18-year-olds because they're still learning the ropes, they're still learning how to maneuver a vehicle and make sure that they are paying attention all the time because it's a new experience. So I think we start off with that, and then like a lot of other states that went to no cell phones while operating a vehicle might be something we'll look to towards the future.
Approximately 3,000 crashes a year happen to drivers. What is the breakdown of those age groups?
Well, it's more prevalent for young drivers. And the 3,000 accidents are crashes those are drivers' distraction accidents. There's approximately 62,000, I think, in 2007, 62,000 drivers involved in accidents in the state of Indiana, and 3,000 of them were listed as driver distraction, which that number is not exactly accurate. That's according to the reporting in the crash reports, but primary accidents or primary causes of accidents are not necessarily driver distraction. You're talking on your cell phone and you run a stop sign and cause an accident, it lists disregarding a traffic or a stop sign as the primary cause rather than a cell phone use. That's a contributing circumstance. But in my book, the cell phone was the primary cause. If they weren't on it, they would have seen the stop sign and they would have stopped in time. So those numbers aren't accurate. So 3,000 are contributed to driver's distraction, and that includes other occupants, cell phones, navigation devices, whether they're in cars now or a lot of people have them up on their dash trying to pay attention to where they're at. Those things all distract one's attention from the road, and those all go into effect of the 3,000, but how many actually get listed as the primary cause? I think very few. So the state's looking at ways to try to get a more accurate count of distractions as primary causes.
And of course, we all see people driving down the highway talking on the phone.
Yes, absolutely.
At any speed.
Mm-hmm. You're correct.
But here, as far as the legislation goes, in this legislative session, it's all kind of pointed toward young drivers.
Yes, there is a House bill. I think it's 1242, and that's looking at restricting drivers from having handheld cell phones, which they actually hold up to their heads, versus hands-free, where you can kind of talk on a speakerphone. That's in the House. I don't know where that's at right now as far as if it's passed the House, ready for the Senate, but that's one that was suggested or brought up in legislation, but I don't know if that's going to pass this year or not.
Well, the thing of it is, with any of these bills, it's a little early in the game to see how they will end up, but probably there will be some legislation on cell phone.
Yeah, I think eventually. And and I think this year, if nothing else, I think it will be for young drivers, and then we'll look in the future as to whether or not they look at all operators or all licensed drivers.
What is important for us in driving with and using cell phones?
Well, there's a saying that in the police department: be alert, be aware, be alive. You know, in 2008, there was 814 fatalities due to car crashes in Indiana. You're 4 times more likely to be in an accident if you're using a cell phone or personal communication device while driving, and of the 4 times more likely to end up in a hospital or a serious enough accident requires medical attention. So we want to, like I said, we just want to reduce the number of accidents and fatalities. And, you know, young drivers, traffic accidents are the number one killer of our children in the country. So, you know, we want to reduce that. We want them to be good drivers, pay attention to the road, and we don't like anything that takes away their attention.
I guess in Indiana, approximately 6,000 teens died last year in accidents.
Well, that was nationwide. Absolutely.
Oh, that was nationwide.
Yes, 6,000 young people average a year. 5,500 to 6,000 young drivers or young occupants are dying in traffic accidents across the country. And I think it was 87% were due to drivers' distractions. And like I said, you know, other people in the vehicles can take away your distracted driver's attention. Girls primping on their way to the school, you know, anything like that can take away their attention. You know, we want them to be focused on the road. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, you know, I've even seen somebody flossing teeth driving down the highway.
Right, yeah. And
I guess they were headed to the dentist. I don't know.
Probably, you know, trying to make that last second adjustment so they can show their good habits.
So, you know, there's all kinds of distractions out there.
Yes, there are.
So is there anything else that you would like to bring up here?
Well, I just want to also point out that come March 6th through the 22nd, the Jasper Police Department is also going to be starting to take or we're going to participate in Operation Pullover. It's a statewide grant. Jasper Police Department, Dubois County Sheriff's Department, State Police are all going to be participating, where they're going to have extra officers on the road. We're going to really target drunk drivers, safety belts, child restraints, and operating, looking out for aggressive driving. It's the season with St. Patrick's Day. There's a lot of people who like to celebrate. We want to make sure people are celebrating in a safe way with designated drivers and making sure that if they are consuming alcohol, they're under the legal limit, and there are going to be more officers out, extra patrol, so that are really targeting those things.
Nathan Schmitt, Assistant Police Chief of the City of Jasper, thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
With us at this time, we have Tina Deering. She is Director of the American Red Cross. Her office is in Huntingburg, Indiana. Welcome to the program. We are pleased to have you. It's been some time, and a lot of things have happened since you were here the last time. And but we are here. March is Red Cross Month.
Correct.
And we want to talk a little bit about the American Red Cross. We're approaching another season of tornado season comes up in March, and the wind and everything else, but we've been through a lot the last couple of months.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit. I guess the latest one here was the ice storm.
Yes, many folks were without power, and they really didn't know exactly what to do as far as when their power went out. They stayed in place, and we were saying, because of the ice storm, because of the state of emergency, to shelter in place, meaning stay put. Folks found out that their other family members had power, so they went to them and stayed with them. Several folks in Kentucky were without power for many, many weeks. So those folks, of course, are having a little more challenge to get their powers back on and maintain a normal lifestyle. But here around the area, we did fairly well, I thought.
Just how did that storm affect your office?
We started getting the phone calls before it came in. The National Weather Service issued the warnings out, so we knew it was coming. How we prepared for that was to get with the cities and say that, okay, we know this is coming. What would you like for us to do to prepare? We had different areas for the shelters in place. Ferdinand had one opened. We opened one in Huntingburg at the event center. We knew what our plan of action was going to be if and when the power went out. Once the power went out, we waited to see how long it would take to get back. We were on the phone with Jasper City, City of Huntingburg, as well as the Dubois REC to find out about where the problem areas were. Was it in the rural areas or was it the city areas? So once we determined that, we were able to determine if we needed a shelter open in the county.
And you opened shelters in Ferdinand and in Huntingburg?
The City of Ferdinand opened their shelter, and the City of Huntingburg, we worked in conjunction with the City of Huntingburg to open the one in Huntingburg.
Okay, and were they used?
The City of Ferdinand was used, I believe, only for a potty break session. So that was used. It was open for anyone in the county, as well as the one in Huntingburg. We had 2 clients there, and once their power was back on, they went and stayed back home.
Well, it's great to have those things planned in advance.
Yes.
And probably great training for the future.
Correct. In Spencer County, we had a shelter open in Dale because there was parts of Dale that were out without power, as well as Rockport. Grandview was severely injured whenever the power lines went down, the phone lines went down, and they had no water. So some of those folks went to the one in Rockport.
So you covered more than Dubois County.
Correct. But I was actually stationed primarily in Dubois County.
In Dubois County, but you helped wherever you're needed at that time. So as the storm was here, what were your duties?
My duties were to maintain, make sure the shelters were open. We had volunteers for all of the shelters, the ones that opened in Perry County and Spencer County, as well as Dubois County. And food. Everybody loves food. And food is a comfort. So we had to maintain that we had food in all of the shelters as well.
And this is, pre-planning, I guess.
Correct.
Then, we had back in September.
Yes.
When I came through.
Correct. We were scheduled to have a bike race or bike tour and a motorcycle ride. And because of the high winds, we were unable to do with that. So we had to postpone it for a later date.
Of course, again, March is Red Cross Month. How do we prepare for
You can make a plan.
Such as what we had?
Yeah, make a plan. If you are going to have power outages, in my family, we have a plan for just about every disaster that we know about. Snowstorm, power outages. What are we going to do? Build a kit. Make sure that your kit is usable and you have one in your vehicle. Have you ever been stuck on the interstate and the kids are hungry? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you need a kit. Get trained in CPR because you never know when you're going to have to help someone else. Mm-hmm. And of course, volunteer, maybe with us, maybe with another organization, and give blood. We have classes every month. So call us up and we'll set you up with a class.
So you set them up. There's no set plan for
Correct.
For the thing. Then the other thing we would have is the funding of the American Red Cross.
The funding is always an issue. We right now have about $10,000 in the coffers, and as you know, that's not going to last very far. The problem will be is if we have multiple fires. That will drain the coffers completely. 100% donated dollars is what we run on.
That is and the funding. What projects do you have to raise the money?
We have our mailings, which is going out within the next couple of weeks. We have our newspapers coming out with the stories of what we do and how we do it. We work with our military families in order to help them maintain, with the 151 coming back, how can they adjust to all of that. Our funding, we have different funding available. Our fundraisers coming up, they are not a huge moneymaker for us. So we are looking throughout the year to have big fundraisers.
And if somebody wants to make a donation to the American Red Cross, how do they go about it?
Yes, they can send us at 312 North Main Street in Huntingburg, or they may drop it off at any of the Integra banks.
Is your office open all the time?
We are there 5 days a week. I am not in there a lot due to the different schedulings of the meetings that I have, but we are there 5 days a week from 9 to 4.
Is there anything else that you would like to discuss this morning?
No, I think we're good.
Very good, and be prepared.
Exactly.
And Tina Deering, Director of the American Red Cross here in Dubois County, thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you.
With us at this time is Rita Douthitt. Rita is the Director of the Jasper Public Library.
And the Dubois County Contractual
And the
Public
Dubois County Contractual Library. That's correct. And you're here today to tell us a little bit about all kinds of events we have coming up.
Right.
So would you do that a little bit?
Sure. There's something going on almost every day at the library. Right now we're in the middle of our spring session of story times. So we have the Bouncy Time, which is for children ages 6 months to 23 months. We have programs for 2-year-olds, for 3 to 5-year-olds, for kindergarten to 3rd grade, and homeschoolers. So you can call the library and get the information. It varies. Most of them are in the morning. Bouncy Time is Thursdays at 10. 2-year-olds Monday at 10. 3 and 5-year-olds is Tuesday at 10 or 1:30, and Wednesdays at 6:30. In the kindergarten to 3rd grade, it's Mondays at 6. And the homeschool is the 3rd Wednesday of every month at 10 o'clock. And then for the older kids, we have a video game club that meets on the first Monday at 4 to 6. We have a book club for grades 4 to 8, and that meets at 4:30 on the first and third Thursday. We also have a crochet class that meets every Thursday at 6. That one, you don't have to. It'll teach you, it'll help you hone your skills. If you already know how to crochet, all you need to bring is your crochet hook and your yarn. And we've been holding classic movies. So we've been doing those every Tuesday at 5:45, and next week it's The Lady Eve. And February was Romance Movie Month. So those have gone over really well. We also, with spring break coming up, we have some special events. There's Mark Thomas and Max the Moose. And Mr. Thomas is a ventriloquist. So they will do that program on Monday, March the 23rd during spring break. And on Wednesday, there's a Wii tournament for ages 8 to 16. And then Tuesday and Thursday at 1 o'clock, there'll be movies for the kids. So we try and have something. It's during spring break when all the kids are out of school. What else is there? If you need assistance with your genealogy, we have volunteers who are in the genealogy room on the 1st and 3rd Saturday and the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays, usually around 1 o'clock. So just drop in and someone is there who will help you with your research on your family tree, and as well as staff is there throughout the day, every hour that we're open. There's usually one staff person who can help somewhat with the genealogy research.
So you have really a lot of things going on. You did mention crochet.
Right.
Is that open to all ages?
All ages. Mm-hmm.
And,
all of our programs are free and open to the public, and the crochet is for all ages. I've seen mothers and daughters. I've seen grandmothers and grandchildren. So it's great. So
I think it's a an art to be able to crochet.
It is.
Are there, is it well attended?
Yes, we've been averaging 10 to 15 people.
Oh, that's great.
And it's sometimes it's the same people every week, but they're new people that come every week. You don't have to follow it along. Our instructor is Erin Doyle, who is actually one of our employees, and she's volunteered to do this, and she's great. She's patient. She's excellent at, I guess you would call it a crocheter, but she does a great job, and she's very patient and very good at showing you how to do all these different stitches and techniques. And I know the group, they were working on crocheting blocks, and they were going to put those blocks together and then donate the finished product to charity, which I thought was
great.
a really nice
That is really great.
way to do it. So
Now, the other thing is, you mentioned you have Wii games. Do you have an area large enough in the Jasper Library?
not really. We hold the tournaments in the theater. And the theater is great for kids. It's not really comfortable for adults. It's just carpeted risers. But the theater, my office is right outside the theater door, and I love to sit there while those tournaments are going on because the kids get so excited. It really is. So we actually have a Wii game, which I actually won through one of our vendors. So that was great, so we could use that. And some of the kids bring their own.
Games.
And their own games.
There are
their
so
own,
many of them.
Oh, I don't know anything about it, but they have a ball with it. They really do. So
And the events that you talked about here are all at the Jasper Public Library?
at the Jasper Public Library. Now, the Ferdinand Library does also have story times, and their
Okay.
story times are Wednesday and Thursdays at 10:15.
Okay.
And I don't think they have they are so limited with
Yes.
floor space, that they can usually manage about 10 kids. But they literally have to move tables out and put down little carpets, and the kids sit on the floor. So
But they could come to Jasper.
They could come to Jasper,
if they
right.
are in Jasper or
Right.
whatever, they could do for the same thing.
right.
Is there anything else on the stuff that we have going on here in the next couple of weeks that you need to address yet?
Well, not as far as programs go, but we have started a lot of online databases that are available to patrons and to the public in general. They're really, really neat. We're up to 8 or 10 now, and there's Learning Express, which is test guides. So if you are practicing or getting ready to take your SAT or ACT, you can go to Learning Express, and it gives you sample tests. It's great for those people learning, trying to get their GED, because there are sample tests and tutoring, online tutoring for that. We also have one called Legal Forms, which is just that. It's a variety of legal forms that a power of attorney, a will, agreements, lease agreements, that sort of thing. You just go online, find the one you want, you can modify it, print it, and you have a legal form. There's one called Price It, which is a guide for antiques. And if you have something that you're not really sure what its value is, you can go online, and it will give you access to auction houses, online auctions, and you can find similar or like objects, and it gives you an estimate, a price on what it's worth. We also have a medical guide and documents of American history. There's also a World Book Encyclopedia online. Reference USA is something that is really great for businesses. It gives you information, a background on businesses all over the United States, mostly public companies, and it'll give you statistics, it'll give you names of executives, addresses, what they do, that sort of thing. So it's great for people checking out a company that they are interested in applying for a job. The two newest ones that we have, it's an online book club. If you sign up for it, every 2 or 3 times a week you get just a short chapter from a book, and you can read it online, or you can come to us and we'll try and get it and have it in the library that you can read it. And the other one is Tell Me More, which is learning a language. You can go online and you have to sign up for an account, which is free. You do it online, follow the online instructions, and you can spend how many hours that you want learning a language. Spanish, Italian, French, Dutch, and I can't remember the others, but they're...
Probably a bunch of others.
Right.
Yes. Well, that's
And
great.
all of these things are free. Some of them, if you come to the library, you can access them off of our website. From home, you're going to need a library card, because some of them are going to say, you've got to sign in. And to sign in, you just need the card, the number off of your library card, and that is your ID. And you just type that number in, and that gives you access.
Rita, our time is up. We want to thank you for bringing us up to date, and hope to have you back to bring us up to date on some other events taking
Sure.
place at the Jasper Public Library and the Ferdinand Contractual Library.
Thank you.
Thank you for being our guest.
Thank you.
Guest today is Tommy Thomason, Dubois County Solid Waste. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's been some time since we've had you here, and it's a pleasure having you.
Yeah, I believe the last time I was here, I had a little blurb that I put up about recycling in Dubois County and the proper
Yes.
way to do it.
Yes, well, and we still use that half-hour program.
And I do see it every now and again when I catch
Well,
the
good.
TV.
I think it's always great to remind the public. Tell you, we have the digital conversion was extended, but the 17th is right around the corner, and people are wondering what to do with some old TVs or expired TVs. And you may have some ideas.
Okay, a lot of people have already purchased TVs. Thanksgiving was a lot of sales and things, Christmas gifts and things like that. The district, as the office, we've been getting quite a few phone calls in, people wanting to know what to do with their old TVs. And we do have a recycling program for the old analog TVs, but there is a fee involved with it because it's considered a problem waste because of all the hazardous materials that are inside the TV. A lot of people don't realize that there's lead, of course, they know about the screens, but there's arsenic and cadmium and different other heavy metals that are in them. So they do not need to be thrown in the ditches alongside of the road, or actually the landfills have stopped taking the CRTs, which is your TVs and monitors, things like that. So we do offer a recycling recovery program for them.
So how do, what do we have to do? I mean, do you take them to any recycling place?
Okay, the way this works is, good question, Paul. The way this works is, at our Spring Clean Sweep Day, which is going to be on Saturday, April 4th, we accept all electronics that day, which is your TVs, computers, and things like that, along with the other household hazardous waste. But that's a good way to bring them in. Also, if somebody really, really needs to get rid of it before that day, because it's a couple months away, they can give our office a call, and they can be brought out to our process center or our office with the health department.
Is there a fee?
There is a fee for the TVs. Anything that's less than 19 inches, there's a $10 fee. The other portables, which are 19 and larger, some go up to 25 and 27 and 32 inches, but they're still portable. They're $15. And all your console wooden TVs or big screens, there's $25 for those.
You know, I think it's really great that, you on that clean sweep day, there is available to get rid of them at that time.
Yes, we've had the clean sweeps, one in the spring and one in the fall, and for the last couple, 3 years, we've gotten a lot of TVs during those 2 days.
Now, a lot of these TVs are still very good. Some of the later models seem to be very good. Why throw them away?
There's no reason to throw them away. There's a lot of options you can do with the old analog TVs. They have that digital converter box that you can use to catch the televisions that are broadcasting over the airways. If you have kids that play gaming, or have the game stations, that's a good opportunity to use the TVs. This way they don't tie up your family TV or home TV. The kids can be in their room playing on the games over there. So, or if anybody else needs them. One thing that's kind of hesitant is like giving them to like the Goodwill or St. Vincent de Paul or Salvation Army. They really don't want the electronics because they do not know if they work or not. And then it becomes a problem for them to get rid of.
Yeah, I don't think they really are accepting them, are they?
No, they're not. They're not accepting them anymore.
So the only thing you have is try to reuse it. Now, you have, I don't know if you have, but traveling down the side streets, you do see every once in a while a TV sitting in the yard says free. So,
Well, like I said, there are people who could use a TV if it's free and it works, and they
Yes.
pick it up and it works fine. Yeah, go ahead and use it.
but I mean, it's interesting to see that. You're not, people are not used to seeing that.
Right. I saw that when I was in California quite a bit.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, you're seeing it here now. So that's one way of getting rid of it, I guess.
Yes, it is. Actually, if it doesn't work, then it becomes someone else's problem. That's the problem with it, is that way. So.
Now, I don't know, but is there somebody that buys these TVs for the metal and there's like gold in some of them, there's silver?
Well, they reclaim them is what they do. The TVs get collected, they get broken down. The CRT, which is your picture tube, goes one way. The electronic circuit boards and stuff go another. The plastic housing goes another, and that all gets marketed out. Now, there is a cost involved with it, so that's why there is a fee for it. It is recycling, and the material gets recycled, but it's not free in the fact like as your soda bottles and newspapers and magazines and things like that, because there's a more cost involved with it.
It seems like that would be expensive, but I think there is a company in Indianapolis now that is doing that.
There are several companies in the state of Indiana that are recycle electronics. Most of them are around the Indianapolis area. There's one down in Evansville, C&I Electronics. There's one here in Jasper, Heartwood Sales, that does electronics. And if people want to contact us, we can give them their phone numbers. Okay. And the thing about them is they charge the same fees that we do, because that's just kind of a wash through. The district doesn't make any money off these. It's just that we can't afford, our budget doesn't allow us to take them all for free.
And really, how has the economic situation affected solid waste?
Right now, because the sale of recyclables, we do sell some recycling, like your magazines and newspapers, is down, which is usually our catch match we use for some of the state grants. We have an HHW grant, which is for the household hazardous waste problems, and we have a mercury grant for the mercury-containing items. Once those are gone, they're not going to be renewed, so we got to figure, then we have to pay full cost for disposal. That's why for everything we call a problem waste, which is your HHW, your electronics, tires and stuff, there always has been a small fee to help offset the cost for that.
So will there maybe be a small fee for some of the other items now too?
Not just the problem waste. The other stuff, there should not be any. The regular recycling, there won't be any charge for those.
There won't be.
No.
So if it's separated, that's the way.
Right. We'd look at problem waste is what there would be a fee for.
Tommy, is there anything else this morning?
I really enjoy coming on here and hope I put out good information for the public. Like I say, our phone number is 481-7040, so anybody can call at any time during the day. And if I can't get back to you right away, I'll get back to you the next day. I'm in and out of the office a lot with different recycling activities and different activities or programs and stuff that I do too.
Tommy, it's been a pleasure having you on.